Jerry Fraley, Dallas Morning News. Kevin, does this allow you now, starting tomorrow, to focus on Homestead? And if so, could that be an advantage when you get there?
I feel like that would be letting everybody down. They've already put a lot of effort into Phoenix and everything that they want to do there, and that car was, those two cars are prepared just like every other week, and so showing up and kind of giving a lackluster performance at Phoenix would probably not be fair to the guys that have put so much time and effort into putting those cars together and on the racetrack. So our goal is to go there and try to win the race, and hopefully we can do that, and if not, then we'll load it up and go to Homestead and see what we can do there.
We'll go to Janine.
Janine Cloud with Skirts and Scuffs. I heard somebody on the radio describing the track as being sort of like a short track, the way it's running right now, just on a big track, with the way that the line is, and you get a single groove at some point, and you kind of got to move somebody out of the way. How would you assess it?
I don't know that I would assess it like a short track. Going through 3 and 4, when you lift barely out of the throttle and put it right back on the floor, I've never been to a short track that's like that. But it's very line sensitive. As far as that goes, and I feel like that there's a few small characteristics to it that are really almost similar to some of the characteristics that it used to take to run the bottom here in the past with the old style racetrack. But really the key to running fast here is getting through the middle of 1 and 2 and being able to consistently keep your car turning through 1 and 2. I feel like everybody can kind of manage their way through 3 and 4. But if you're gonna win the race, you need to be able to turn through the center of the corner in 1 and 2 lap after lap.
We'll go to Jerry Jordan.
Jerry Jordan, Kicking the Tires on PRN. When you won your championship, you went to Phoenix and then won there and did a walk-off. But when we talked a couple weeks ago, you called your shot for this track. What was it about Texas that you thought this would be your better shot than to win at Phoenix? And do you go into Phoenix with a?
Yeah, I think as a group we just felt like that this racetrack has been, since the repave, has just been really, really lights out for us. And just felt comfortable about where the speed of the cars were on a 1.5 mile racetracks, and coming here, just felt like in the spring we did what we did today, but we got behind, we got a lap down, we made some mistakes, and had all kinds of problems on pit road, and battled back and still almost won the race. So we've been able to figure out how to pass, we've been able to figure out how to keep our car turning, and it just, for whatever reason, just feel really good about the things that happen for us at this particular track since they've redone it. We swing for the fence every week. That's the only way you can control anything, is to win. So it's when everything's going like it is, if you come in just thinking that you're, and especially this time of year, if you don't think that you're going to that race to win, somebody else is going to beat you, because that's what it takes. And when you go to Homestead, you're going to have to win the race most likely. I mean, every year the champions won a race, so you have to have a winning mentality to approach the week.
I'm going to stay over here to the right and then go to Dominic and Bob.
Dawn Hall, Track Smack Radio. Kevin, we watched you walking up 4-driver intros, and there was a group of kids, young kids, right on the way. You stopped, took time, signed autographs with them, even kind of talked to them just for a minute or two, and the faces just lit up on them. And then your post-race celebration, of course, with the young man and giving him the flag. Is it something now, maybe as a father, are you appreciating and looking at things differently as far as these young fans and what even just saying hi to a young kid, what it can do for someone that, maybe it's their first time to a racetrack or something?
Well, I think that the impact that you have on people, you sometimes forget in all the things that you do. I like kids. I'm not necessarily thrilled about, all the adults cramming their stuff in there over the top of a kid's head. And I like to go out of my way to try to talk to the kids. And it's like the group of kids that you're talking about, the first kid that I signed an autograph for, it was yes, sir, no, sir. And I told him, I said, now, if you do anything in life, just try to have manners, because most people, especially around here, that aren't the kids, don't have manners. And that, to me, is something that, if you can help the parents reinforce something that they're doing at home. And the mom patted him on the back and said, "See, I told you those manners would pay off for you." That's right. Yeah. So, it's, afterwards that kid that we took a selfie with, he was kind of getting shoved around in the scrum up there in the grandstands, and he had his phone hanging out, and I had the security guard grab him, and he grabbed him, and I picked him up over the fence, and so that's a moment that kid will never forget, and he went off with the checkered flag and a selfie on the racetrack. So I thought about taking him to victory lane, and I'm like, you know what? I don't know that his parents will know where he's at. That probably won't be the right thing to do. So I didn't put him in the car, but sometimes you take some grief, and we actually had this conversation 2 weeks ago on the radio show. A fan called in, and he was at a football game, and he said, "Man, those guys never stopped to sign autographs for nobody." I'm like, "Look, man," I said, "it's impossible. We're at work. We're trying to go from point A to point B. Try to go out of my way for the kids, and then you do the best that you can, walking from where you're going to the things that you're doing." I think I did 7 appearances this morning before the race started, and there's some people that are mad as you're getting in your golf cart trying to go to the next one. You got 5 minutes to get to, and I think sometimes people just don't understand that you have a lot going on, and we do the best that we can. But there's no sport that's more open than this one. There's no sport that has more access. There's no sport that has a more charitable feel. Well, I shouldn't say feel. There's no sport that does more for charities and supports each other and supports causes. And you look at the Speedway Children's Charities. Every community that these racetracks from SMI that these racetracks sit in, they're making a multi-million-dollar impact on these charities as you go from race to race. And you look at the drivers' charities and the things that we do off the racetrack. There's none of them that even come close. And then you look at the fan access and the things that you do. So I like kids, and if it was, it's just something that I would rather do that than sign 30 sweaty guys autograph. I'm sorry, sweaty guys, but I'd rather sign the autographs for the kids. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just weird when you're I understand that I have a lot of fans that are all ages, but I have more fun signing the kids' autographs, and I'm not going to apologize for that. But it's just more fun because it just feels more genuine. And that kid is, he's looking right through your eyes and thinking, I don't even know what to say, because sometimes I had idols and heroes when I grew up, and if you can actually speak to them and have a moment, and then next thing you know, that kid's going to remember that. He's going to, when he's 40 years old, he's going to grab a kid and put his arm around him and take a selfie with him, or whatever they're doing in 40 years. And those are the types of scenarios that you want to have an impact, so that it has another impact somewhere down the line because of that type of scenario. As you can tell, I like that stuff.
All right, we'll go to Dominic and then Bob.
Dominic Ottagona with the Racing Experts. So just this year, 8 wins. You've passed now Bobby Isaac, Tim Flock, Mark Martin, and Bill Elliott on the all-time wins list. So just like to get your thoughts on passing all those guys.
Yeah, it's obviously, I think it's not something that I really ever thought I would do. I don't look at that list very often because I'm scared to look at it because it might stop. I'm kind of weird about that stuff, but I know Bill was the last one that we were tied with, and to know what Bill has done and meant to this sport, and hopefully you can leave some sort of impact on the sport that some of those guys have left, and feel like things are going well, and I'm enjoying the things that are happening. But I like being around my team. I like being around my guys, and just being a part of the sport. There's a lot of people that have come and gone in the sport, and hopefully there'll be a few people that remember you 10 years down the road.
We'll go to Bob.
Bob, you got another question?
Yeah, I do. Bob Pockris, ESPN. Comparing the team roster now compared to Daytona, there seems to be about 4 or 5 different changes. A couple guys on the road crew, a couple guys on the pit crew. I'm just curious where you see team chemistry right now, and how much team chemistry do you need at Homestead?
It's there's a lot of scenarios that you guys have no idea about. You know, with some of those roster changes, I think there's only one that was actually a change. You know, there's been some scenarios and issues and things that have happened with some of those guys personally that we've had to find some guys to fill in temporarily. So some of it inspiring, and you know, you want to go and do the things that it takes to you know, to fulfill those situations of choices that some of those guys made that didn't make, that changed their lives in directions that they didn't want to go. So there's really only one change that was made. The rest of them are kind of filling in for scenarios of life.
Come over here to Mark to the left.
Mark Darrow, PRN. Just sort of following up on the win list as you keep climbing up through that, and how you look at it but don't look at it kind of thing. At this point, you have had a Hall of Fame career. Do you let yourself think
Let's
about
wrap
that?
it up. That's it. I
Didn't say you
quit.
had to end it. I'm just saying that to this point, I mean,
Call it into it.
but do you dare let yourself think about that? I mean, the numbers don't lie; they're there.
No. Look, I'm very fortunate of you know, where I'm at in my career and the things that we've been able to accomplish. And you know, I think as I'm kind of a late bloomer to the game, I guess you could say. I don't even know how many races have we won. No, not this year, Bob. Take your headphones off and pay attention. 45. Okay, so we're one away from you know, winning as many races in 5 years as we won in 13. So, you know, like I say, I feel like I'm a little bit of a late bloomer of accumulating some of those wins and you know, I feel like I'm enjoying it more just because I appreciate how long it took to get to the other half and knowing all the things that you went through to get to that particular point. So it's a little bit different for me because I feel like it's not a scenario where I came in and filled in for somebody. This was a scenario that was built around myself coming to Stewart-Haas, and then, you know, we made that decision as a group with, you know, Tony and the executives, and then it was, okay, who do you want to be your crew chief? And then we went and handpicked Rodney, and, you know, you've had a lot of people that have been, they came to the 4-car because they wanted to be on the 4-car, and we built the 4-car from the ground up. You know, we didn't have a truck, we didn't have a trailer, we didn't have a toolbox, a car, a nut, a bolt, anything. And so when you can have that connection to something, it's you know, for me, I love winning races, and that's great. But I like seeing those guys happy and, you know, excited. You know, when we pull into victory lane, it's more fun for me to see them slinging beer and having a good time because I know how much time and effort and sacrifice that they put in to make those cars go fast. And there's a connection there and a chemistry there that is not normal. It's not your everyday chemistry with a group of guys. It's a special group of people, you know, that really don't want to let the other down. You know, I don't want to show up unprepared because I know all of them are prepared. And when you have that from top to bottom, and everybody's got each other's back on a bad day or a good day, you know, that's the type of thing that is really, really enjoyable to me because, you know, at that point you're doing things together that you know, not everybody gets to experience, and you're enjoying them. You're actually enjoying them. You know, there's a lot of moments that you go through in you know, in my career and in life in general. You guys go through the same thing. You go through down times, and you're just like, man, this sucks. Don't want to do this. No matter how successful it is on the racetrack or off the racetrack, you just go through funks, and you know, when you're around a group of people like that, it has a way of just remotivating you and re-energizing you. And you know, I go through it, they go through it, and you know, it just has a special chemistry that is fun to be a part of.
Do we have any final questions for our race winner? All right, Kevin, congrats. Good luck in Miami.
Thank you, guys.